Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stevie D. I know I may not look like Stevie D, but I am. And I feel groovy. You know, the producers usually don't allow me to speak for very long for fear of me saying something stupid and inappropriate, which is usually true. But since relocating my media empire to Southern California from San Francisco, I've come to realize that people in LA have finally evolved as human beings. Not in a sophisticated or cultivated way, but somehow less pretentious and indignant. That being said, I now feel a calmer, more peaceful coexistence being in the land where people are that much groovier. Sexy and groovy. I know it's not appropriate to say that on public television, but it's true. I feel sexy and groovy in Southern California. Even groovier than I did in San Francisco, and I was intensely groovy there. But now that I'm here, I've decided to start a new show about being groovy. Hence, Being Groovy with Stevie D. I know it sounds a bit risque, but tough times call for tough solutions. And I, Stevie D, pledge to all of you here tonight that I will be the utmost, grooviest, coolest, and hippest dude that you'll ever see on public television. And that doesn't even matter what time we're on either. And from now on, everyone watching at home can refer to me as His Grooviness, Stevie D. Anyway, today I have two very reputable guests who haven't been charged with any serious malicious crimes yet, and we're going to ask each other very pertinent and important questions that don't really make a difference in anyone's life, but that might just be completely uninteresting. Basically, Gallup, it was Gallup, wasn't it? Gallup did a poll about 10 years ago and asked a basic question. Why doesn't Stevie D let others ask him questions too? Now, although it was subsequently locked in a vault in the Carpathian Mountains of Romania during a pro-Ceausescu revolt, people remembered and still wanted to know. And by the way, I still haven't been indicted for those lewd photographs of grasshoppers yet, in case anyone was wondering. So, before we meet our esteemed guests, I'd like to thank Stelios and Savan at Abu Kebab here in Pasadena for providing food for today's show and for laughing at my stupid jokes, which were pretty stupid. And now, hailing from the western provinces of Outer Mongolia, please welcome Rebecca Trainer. Ms. Trainer?
Hello and good morning, Stevie D. It's really an honor to be here on your internationally recognized show today. I'm actually from Philadelphia, in case you wanted to know. If not, well, I'm still from Philadelphia. That's in Pennsylvania, for those of you who are in your 30s but still haven't graduated from high school yet. I've never been to Mongolia, although I do like their barbecue. I would like to say that I'm very excited to be here, and I'll try my best not to embarrass anyone. Anyone important, I mean. That reminds me of a very interesting story I want to share with everyone, but I'm starting to feel dizzy. Those 3 Irish coffees kicked my butt. Do you happen to have any more?
No, maybe you should sit still and get your equilibrium stabilized. Have some water.
Okay.
And next, thank you. Next, please welcome Thermio Napity of the St. Augustine, Florida Napities. That's not the same Napity family that is connected with the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, is it?
No, Stevie, we're not that family, and we know nothing about the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, who died in June 30th, 1982. We don't even know who he is.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm so excited to be here today. And no, I don't need to use the facilities. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm happy that not only will I be able to ask you very controversial questions on topics that make you feel uncomfortable, but that I'll be able to answer questions about my ethical, moral, and legal personage. Oh, also, thank you very much for that wonderful souffle you provided the cast. It's, I must have put 3 pounds on it.
Souffle? You know, that must have been the French cooking show before us. That's why that old French lady kept giving me dirty looks when I was looking at her and rubbing my chest. Anyway, so before we get started with our questions, let's hear a word from our sponsors, one of which deals with extra crunchy cereal. We'll be right back after this. Thank you. Great.
And now it's time for the Vegas Strip with Joey Vegas. Culture commentator Joey Vegas strips down the events of our times to their bare essentials, as only Joey can. Hey, Joey, is there life after death?
Oh, so you must be talking about the night of the Hooksbury. It was a night happened. It was a life her death incident, it was great musicians came through, and they were whispering to, like, if we were just talking in front of Ryan Seacrest's cat closet, and we were, and we played a little bit of poker in there, and I would say Ryan didn't bother us at all. He was downstairs just maybe I think he was watching a movie or something, and has nothing, or it's not comparable to, I would say, was Kalen or something like that living with him. I was just there for a day, and somebody on Craigslist was asking questions about stuff, and they said, "Oh, you can't do that, and everybody had to leave real quick. But yeah, I think we might be able to do that. Really.
That light's on. Oh, and we're back. Well, wasn't that enlightening? So, my esteemed guests will begin the questioning process. Let's start with Rebecca Trainer. And remember, Rebecca, be groovy.
Stevie D, you're accused of laundering money for a wealthy sheik in a non-disclosed Middle Eastern country in exchange for a harem of young and disease-free concubines. How can you explain professing to be moral with these charges against you?
Well, Rebecca, if I could call you that, I think it's all about being groovy. And there are certain things that are groovier than other things in life, and a lot of people don't realize this. One of which is caramel corn. Caramel corn is very groovy. It's groovy because you can eat it out of your hand, and when you're done eating it, you can lick it off your hand. That's one of the reasons that it's so groovy. Another thing that's groovy is seal meat. I like to eat, so that's why I talk about groovy things to eat. Seal meat is legal, by the way. Anybody can eat it. Anybody can buy it. I wouldn't buy seal meat off the street anywhere. I'd buy it from a reputable place, like, well, I won't say it here just because there are women and children and grandmothers.
Of course.
But I think coyotes are very groovy, and they're very sexy too, and especially when they attack rabbits. I actually feed the coyote in my neighborhood rabbits that I've raised, and it's a great process because they're very thankful. The coyotes are definitely groovier than the rabbits, and that's why I do that. So, are you okay there?
I'm all right. I'm just getting my footing.
Yeah, I see that, honey. So, but thanks for the question, and I hope that answered the question for you. Don't go anywhere. Mr. Nappity, that's you, right?
Yeah.
If that is your real name. What is a more common characteristic of the African dwarf frog? Lunging or leaping? And could you elaborate on their eating habits and mating tendencies? Please try to be graphic yet professional.
Well, Stevie D, I would say lunging and leaping are equally represented. The only difference between the two is that lunging goes on a horizontal plane where leaping goes on a vertical plane. And I say they both contribute to mating and eating. Because once the frogs leap at each other to mate in midair, they drop to the ground, then they lunge toward each other and bite each other's heads off, which contributes to the eating. And this way, they feed themselves and they perpetuate the species, which is beautiful because it's nature.
Okay. Do they eat grassy foods like greens and things from the garden?
No, they eat frog heads.
Frog heads. Interesting. One time I was at a wax museum and I saw a wax figure of Elvis Presley, that is, in case...
I think I have a question for Miss Trainer, actually.
Oh, okay.
And now, Miss Trainer, I'm not
my
sure that
show.
you're... Yeah, but it's my question. It's just over there on the teleprompter. Now, Miss Trainer, I'm not sure that you're well enough to speak right now, but it doesn't matter. Compose yourself and be comprehensible. Now, if a train leaves Chicago heading west towards San Francisco at 70 miles an hour, and a bus filled with nuns from a convent in Baltimore leaves Canvas at 4 p.m., when will both moving vehicles stop for lunch? Now, don't take too much time with the answer, and be groovy about it.
Lunch. My idea of a well-balanced, well-rounded meal is an icy screwdriver and a nice sweet jar of untainted peanut butter. What's tainted peanut butter, you might ask? Now, you'd have to write to my second cousin in jail for that answer. Now, Stevie D, I have a question for you.
Wait a minute. What's your cousin doing in jail have to do with the peanut butter recipe?
Well, there was an incident, when we were younger children, has something to do with my uncle, and I don't know. I was in the lake at that time, but when I came back, they said don't make any peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and the FBI went there. It was something to do. I just wanted the raspberry syrup that went with my fluff.
All right, that's cool. Ask the question, please.
Okay, Stevie D, I know you're the grooviest host in the world, and I'm thinking very dirty thoughts about you right now. If the room wasn't spinning, I might take something off. I'm not sure I know what I'm saying right now. I think it might be the uppers kicking in, so I'd better hurry up and ask you this question quickly. Before I toss the brandy I had earlier, before the Irish coffees, that is, needs your Sartre.
Sartre.
And why? Oh, God, I feel sick.
There might be a trash can somewhere, please. No problem, Rebecca. Anyway, it's Nietzsche and Sartre. Not that they matter, and not that I care, and not that I'm going to answer that question. But let's get back to being groovy, because that's who I am. I am groovy. Everyone, we've established that. We're in Pasadena, and I happen to be probably the grooviest person in Pasadena right now. Almost. There might be one person. Okay, I'll say it. There might be one person who's groovier than me right now. Just one, though. But groovy people do groovy things, and there are groovy habits. There are groovy foods. There's groovy clothing. There's even being groovy with alcoholic elderly women. Guys, I must tell you, if you want to retire young, you got to find an old woman with a very thick, big pension. And to do that, you've got to find the little kids, because the grandmothers are always watching the grandkids. So you cozy up to the little grandkids, and then you get to know the grandmothers, you be groovy with them, and they're going to share their pensions. That's what it's all about. It's all about the money. Are you okay there, honey?
I'm okay.
All right, try and stay with us for a minute or two. But that's what it's all about. It's all about being groovy, and we've established that I am the grooviest. So I'm not gonna go there. Mr. Thermos.
It's Thermio.
What?
And we're not really on a first-name basis. Despite all the grooviness, you still need to call me Mr. Napady.
Okay. This is definitely the reason why I am the grooviest person in the world. Anyway, Nappy Baby, who was the best mind of our time? Let me finish. Roosevelt, Lenin, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. She was sexy, by the way. The third Prime Minister of Australia, Denzel Washington, who's always sexy. The soon-to-be ex-Prime Minister of Moldova, Batman, or the very groovy and very sexy Rita Moreno. And please try and elaborate on your answer.
Stevie, a lot of people would answer Rita Moreno because she was in both West Side Stories. But the reason she was in both West Side Stories is because she was the only one still alive from the original cast. So I would say the best mind, actually, was the man who invented the Batmobile, the Batcopter, the Batarang, the Bat Shark Repellent, and the Batusi. And that man, I must tell you, is not Mother Teresa. Am I clear?
Okay. But what about bat bikinis? When bats wear bikinis, that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. No, Mr. Beckham, I see you seem to have a bit of color in your face now. I assume you're feeling better and we don't need to call for medical assistance?
Thank you.
All right. Well, please tell us one thing before you lapse back into your drug-induced hallucination. If a 5-seat European passenger car loaded with sour cream leaves Amarillo, Texas at 3 p.m. on August the 14th, and a disabled veteran rides his bicycle sideways through the Midwest for 2 straight years...
Oh, it's another one of these.
Well, I gotta give you puppets. Hand puppets. No, the question is, who will hand out the awards at the Huron County Fair?
You said something about sour cream, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sour cream is what I like to call an Irish that's been out in the sun too long. You like that one, Stevie?
I kind of like it.
Do you guys ever have your thighs rubbed together when you're under the water? I do. I swear, if I get a matchstick and some sand between these things, we're going to have to call the fire department. No more beach days for me, right, Stevie? Right, Stevie D?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So now, this Huron County Fair that I keep hearing about, have you been there?
A few times, yes.
Oh.
I don't remember much. I was on a lot of schnapps.
Oh. did you take care of business this morning? Because you sound like you're kind of stuck there.
Well, yeah,
Constipated a little bit.
Well, the schnapps help with that, and I wasn't allowed to bring any schnapps into the studio today, so.
Okay, so yeah, your digestive system is okay, but everything else is sort of.
Once I get my after studio schnapp, I'll be all right. So I usually get that one about 5 p.m.
Okay. I think now is a good time to break to another commercial so everyone can readjust their mental and physical condition briefly. Watch this. It's groovy, baby.
Where am I looking?
Just look that way.
Oh.
Hey everybody, Stevie D again with, quite frankly, with Stevie D. A lot of people know that I'm a very famous unknown celebrity, and they want to know what's on my mind because I'm such a smart guy and experienced, and I have a lot of information that could help people. Someone recently posed the question, why should mother-in-laws read very long novels? And I'll tell you why. There's a good reason for it. Look, have you ever had a mother-in-law? I've had several. I've had one. No, I wasn't married to that one. And this one, the mother-in-law was dead. So I've had mother-in-laws. That's beside the point how many. And you know what? If you've ever had a mother-in-law that doesn't read a long novel, you'll know what I'm about to say is very important. I had this mother-in-law. She didn't read a long novel. I had to throw her in the closet. And it was a soundproof closet. I didn't gag her or anything like that. But I put a bucket in, and some water, so she was okay. Until she said, okay, I'm really ready to read Moby Dick, for instance, okay? Just an example. And so I let her read Moby Dick, but I put her in another room that was not close to the TV so I could watch football. Could you imagine if she didn't read the long novel? Poor woman would have died in the closet, and I probably would have been held responsible. Nobody likes that. So it's very important that mother-in-laws read long novels, I'm telling you, for their health and yours. Stevie D, quite frankly, with Stevie D signing off. Have a great evening and enjoy your mother-in-law.
And we're back. Wake up here. Yeah. And thank you to our super groovy sponsors today, of which I have no idea who they are. That's why it's so cool. People actually like us. I think. I'll get back to you on that. And now, Miss Trainer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Are you, okay. Something smells.
Can you check my breath for me? It might be my breath.
That's all right. That's all right. Just kind of stay a little bit further back. It's nice to have you back with us, by the way. And it's your turn to ask a question.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me to do something else. Thank God. Yeah. I've seen it all in my years in the business, honey. I was once in a movie with naked people. We were running through the forest one time.
I think that's never mind on that. Ask me the question before we get shut down by the FCC. It's right there. It says, Stevie D, you've got one of the most irritating personalities in Hollywood. Everyone despises you. You see that? With such vigor. It's right there on the screen, honey.
Oh, I see. I
right
see
there.
you.
Yeah, just read that.
All right, hon. Stevie D, you've got one of the most irritating personalities in Hollywood. Everyone despises you with such vigor. It would make all corporate oligarchs' mouths salivate with greed. And yet you still find ways to make young children cry and scream in terror when in your presence. How do you do it?
First of all, it's not easy. I had to get rid of the foot fungus, and it was pretty severe. I won't get into details what doctors I had to go to, but they were from Central America in the jungles. That was really cool. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you really about tanning solutions, but that's not really why we're here. The reason we're here is really to be groovy. And again, getting back to the pensions. It's about the grandmothers with the kids. The kids will cry. Don't worry about it. You want to get to the grandmothers. Sometimes they don't have all their teeth. You got to deal with it, guys. Or ladies. Depends. And they may smell a little bit like mothballs or like Miss Trainer here. It's all right. You can make do with it because they're going to die off and they're going to leave you their money anyway. And then you can go off and live in the Caribbean or the south of France or a Greek island or maybe in Thailand, and have a lot of fun. I was going to also talk about proper cucumber canning techniques that my grandmother used to tell me. And this is going back years of cucumber canning families that we used to know back in the old country. Stay with us here. This is important information. Cucumbers are very underrated. A lot of people don't know that. So, if you've got cucumbers and you want to can them, why not? Just do it. It's groovy. Oh, God, that was refreshing. I feel like I just had an intensive surgery on my small intestine and got up and danced afterwards. That's invigorating. Now, where were we? I feel like I should be performing in St. Louis with my old Aunt Emma. Old Aunt Emma from St. Louis. What a great lady she was. She had this wooden leg. She had to have her leg amputated up to the knee, right? And so anyway, it was a drinking, diabetic condition, something like that. And she used to drag the leg instead of walking normal with it. She said that she felt better talking to people after they asked about her leg. Once when we were driving her to Baltimore to visit a cousin who was visiting from Albania, she drank too much coffee and was farting the whole way. We had to stop and let her go to the bathroom in Louisville. And you know what? When we were driving, she always wanted me to sit on her lap too. Said I reminded her of her late husband Shlomo, Uncle Shlomo. She kept moaning as she rubbed my chest with her hands. It was kind of gross, actually, but my parents didn't say anything. I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Nappity. See, I can be professional too. Thermio Nappity. Is that a Mongolian name?
No, it isn't.
Okay. I think you should ask your next question.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Trainer. Are you still with us?
No idea.
Oh, good. Okay, now, listen carefully. You might want to write this down. I'll speak slowly and carefully. Was Alfred E. Newman the Zodiac? And I don't care if it's Alfred E. Newman, the Mad Magazine mascot, or Alfred Newman, the composer. Was he the Zodiac? Now, think carefully before you speak. Your future as a professional mudslinger, blah, your future, what to say there? Your future as a professional mud wrestler might depend on it.
All right, I'm thinking, it's coming to me, listen. You know, one time, these teenagers, they tried to play a prank call on me to my telephone. They said, Miss Rebecca, now you have to take your car out of our driveway and stop parking in our driveway. This is our private property and we own it. You gotta park in your own driveway, Miss Rebecca. And, you know, they told me they haven't called the police on me yet because they see that I shit my pants through my cardigan almost daily on the Ring camera. They did call themselves by a suspicious alias, the neighbors. But you know what? They did mess up at the end there, though. They said, I feel bad for you, Rebecca. But I told them my name is just Rebecca. So I got them, I think, those rascals.
That's nice. That's very funny, honey.
Well, Stevie D, is that your real name or some fictitious one to fool people?
It's my real name. It's on my birth certificate. Do you want to see?
I prefer not. It sounds kind of weird. You're kind of weird. You know that? Do you have a bar here?
No. I don't think so. Just ask me the next question. We're almost out of time, and make it a groovy question. Imagine we're in a field in the countryside, and there are cows, sheep, horses, and everybody's in the field dropping acid. I mean, no, they're not. But I mean drinking Kool-Aid. Okay, same thing. And we're all there, happy and content. Beautiful colors, streaking everywhere. Just think in that vibe and ask a question.
Okay, read my mind. What am I thinking? I smell fish. Is somebody cooking fish in here, actually?
I think it's you that smells like fish. But I do like fish. Actually, and bearded clams. Did I just say that? I'm sorry. Oh, you don't care. I don't know why I said that. I was really thinking about my grandmother's recipe for Swedish meatballs. But anyway, fish. Yeah, I do like fish. I like fish a lot. I don't eat it, but I like to look at it. I'll cook it. I'll look at it. I might take some photos, send it to relatives so they know that I'm cooking, you know, family style and everything. And but I won't eat fish. But getting back to Sartre and Nietzsche, I'm surprised you knew who they were to ask that question. That really impresses me for an old hag. I mean, a nice old lady that you are, because that takes someone who reads philosophy, right?
Wait a minute, those aren't a type of liquor to mix with my soda?
No, honey.
What's the bartender been giving me for the past in the lobby there? What's he been giving me then?
He was giving you something else, and I think it's changing you a bit. Your color is changing. You're looking green now instead of blue.
She drinks, therefore she am.
Do you see them under my skin too?
Yeah. Anyway, at this point, I'd like to again thank Stelios and Savan at Kaboo Kebab, right here in Pasadena, California. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today. My mom, who's no longer with us, my cousin Louise, who doesn't speak to me anymore, and my stepbrother Wayne, who got lost in a South American jungle several years ago. I'd like to thank the FCC for not shutting us down just before finishing my opening monologue. I'd like to thank my esteemed guests, even if they didn't shower properly today.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank, you're okay. I'd like to thank the staff here at the facilities. I'm not sure all of their names, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure they're all great people with very healthy blood pressures and extremely groovy. And I'd finally like to thank the world of grooviness. Without being groovy, I'm speechless. I can't imagine what that would be like. I guess only truly groovy people can understand. Okay, you know what? That strange man on the other side of the studio is punching the palm of his hand.
It's a woman.
With his fist. That's a woman?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's disgusting. I guess that means I should say goodnight, right? All right, well, good night, everyone, and have a pleasant tomorrow. I don't think he's being groovy right now. He's kind of walking this way as he's punching his fist.
She is punching her
What
hand.
do you two of you think about that?
I'm getting scared right now, Stevie.
You're getting scared?
Yeah.
Well, at least there are authorities here, so someone will pull him off me. And besides that, I know karate.
Whoa.
You look like a man that knows karate. I like
you.
you look very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't say that too loudly. There are responsible people here, professionals.
Responsible Republicans. Is that what you just said?
No.
Professionals.
Yes, something like that.
I think Republicans are a very seafaring nautical race, in my opinion.
Wonderful. Do you ever wash your clothing? Maybe that's part of the reason. And take that the shrimp that you have stuck under your arms.
Well,
Throw it away, maybe.
Well, after a while, it ferments, and then it becomes, a very natural cleaning agent to wash my clothing with. So you have to think about it in that sense when you care about climate. I care about the climate. So.
Yeah, you put that shrimp in some water and it becomes a Jean-Paul Sartre, a new alcoholic beverage.
Oh, I think I've heard of that
Yeah.
one. I think I've heard of that one. I had them put it in me at the
Lord
hospital.
help us. God, get me out of this situation. Why did I ask this? The producers should fire me if they haven't already.
Well,
Yeah.
it's happening. They're kicking
It's
in.
fine.
All right, I'm going to Groovy Town in 1, 2, and...
Now we're out.